All right, Jason, we have a little game here. I want you to tell me what WWE theme this is from the lyrics I give you.
Oh, boy.
I love to love them. I love
Oh.
to kick them. I love to shove them. I love to stick them. I love to flaunt them.
Best line.
I love to watch them. And I love to pick them again. And I'm going to kick them.
The pick'ems and kick'em, like it's such the flaunt him. I'm gonna flaunt, but that would be Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. I love to flaunt him. Does that mean he likes to flaunt his own butt?
I never really understood what it meant, but it came on shuffle today, and I was just like, I think I could find maybe a little bit more. I mean, you might be better off doing them for me because I think you're a little bit more like you know all of them.
Yeah.
But I just heard that one, and I was like, I really can't believe that that's the fucking song. Like,
It's
and those are the
amazing.
lyrics.
It's amazing. Is you have more? Or is that the only
That's
one?
it. That's all I got.
It's literally, Bill, because you know what? You are an ass man, and you love to flaunt him, too.
Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about pop culture that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat.
Get yourself addicted. Get yourself addicted.
Welcome into the Pop Culture Pile Driver. Get addicted to the content. I am Jason Rossi. You can be followed across all social media platforms at Jason D. Rossi. You can follow our little show here on Twitter at Pop Culture PD. And when you do, it will instantly make you... What does that mean? I don't know. It's just a siren.
It's the Royal Rumble sound.
There you go. That's what it'll make you. It'll make you enter.
Make it royal.
It sure damn will. With me, as always, my tag team partner in the podcast sphere. He can be followed along most social media platforms at Billy D2411. On Twitter at Billy Yee2411 because he's the bad boy of Twitter getting booted out of there because he does like to flaunt some videos he's not supposed to and get copyright infringement. Later, if you want to try to get, what will be more likely to have their Twitter handle? Will you get Billy D2411 on Twitter, or will I get Jason Rossi on Twitter?
You'll get Jason Rossi. I think Billy D2411's banned for life for everyone.
Faux life. He is over on his OnlyFans, by the way, back and better than ever. He is doing a discount for the Royal Rumble. That means it is 30 inches of fun. That is all you had to type in. It's 30 inches of fun. It's also the snow we're expecting this weekend here in the Boston area. He is Billy D.
Fuck. So this is my favorite sporting event ever. But we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. And when I tell people it's my favorite sporting event, they're like, oh, wrestling? I'm like, no. Out of anything that's ever been done, the Super Bowl of football, the World Series of baseball or poker, whatever you want to call it, like this is my weekend. This is my event. And now that it's on a Saturday, and it's not on the Sunday before the Super Bowl, which for them is probably a good time. But if me, that's a terrible time for me. So gotta kick back, relax, and enjoy it.
Yeah, it is awesome. You've said that we've done numerous preview shows in the past, and you've always said this is your favorite event. I've always been more still I'm a WrestleMania guy. It's just always been the build-up, but the more I really think about it, the Royal Rumble is the best casual fan event. It's the best.
Oh, 100%.
Just fun. You can talk to people that don't watch as often or as even casual. You can pick up the phone to anybody and be like, oh, Rumble's this Saturday. What are you doing? People I work out with oh, is this the Rumble? And some of the matches have gotten people's attention. We'll talk a little bit about the actual Royal Rumble of 2021 in a few, but today we're going to be counting down the Podcasters Dozen, the top 11 Royal Rumble matches of all time, according to the best sources, that is the Pop Culture Pile Driver. Yeah. Our music of this podcast is brought to you by Oh Yeah. Bill, where can you find those guys?
You can find them on Spotify. Check them out, and hopefully we'll be getting just to add to me being already too busy, music video for them soon.
Sounds wonderful. We'll be doing infomercials and many things more that you'll be seeing Billy D producing. Also, you can check us out over on Spotify, Podbean, Ghana, the big hit. We are the hottest commodity in the history of India podcast with the title Pop Culture Pile Driver. 2 listens per week. We really appreciate you, the Indian, well, no, that's all right. The people of India who do listen. Also, just want to say, if you do check it out on iTunes, leave a 5-star review. It would really help us and go a long way. Also, you can check out the merch over at TeePublic. You can also check out It's a Chunky.
That's a chunky.
Any new shirts, Bill?
So yeah, I think I'm gonna design a Bozo did the dub one, but no newer ones than
The Christmas batch.
the Christmas batch. The I'm afraid of how much I need wine stuff.
Good
all the
stuff.
good stuff. Crashmore
It is.
shirts.
If you are a fan like we are and most of the DSG of I Think You Should Leave, please do check out the merch and pay Billy D's 1/5 of his cell phone bill. All right, so with all
And
that,
I know that it's an audio thing for most, but I got a little Bozo for Christmas from somebody.
wait a minute, that's the actual Bozo?
That's the Bozo. That's a real
Yeah,
Bozo.
real Bozo, but that is that's pretty amazing. Who got you that?
Guy at work.
I love that guy.
Yeah, me too.
All right, sorry. I just real quick, total aside. I just went onto Twitter to retweet some people to see from the Pop Culture Pile Driver one, and it says introducing NFT profile pictures. I hate this world. I absolutely hate this world. What are we doing, Bill?
You know what NFTs are? You know the ones I want.
I sure do know the ones.
Nice
you want,
fucking
Bill.
titties. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa! That's what you get over with your employer. I heard they're all about the NFTs. But all right, so let's get into this. We both compiled our list. Spoiler for everybody. Billy puts a list of 15. I put a list of 15. We do the math and goo, and I put together the list. I think I got it right. Actually, you didn't even see my list, so you can't argue it. But I will say my top 2 were not on your list.
Wow, your top two weren't on my list.
Were not on your top 15.
Was it the Taker one?
Nope. I think it was a complete oversight, or you put one wrong, is my guess. But we'll get.
I might have put one wrong.
That's my guess, and I'll explain when we get there. But we'll kick it off with number 11, only on my list, ranked rather high. The year is 2010, so the year 2010. Why do you say? That is the year that had the CM Punk in the Stone Cold position where he was knocking dudes out, and he kept during the Straight Edge Society. So he'd be speaking and like trying to convince people to join him, then beating them up. Also had the Beth Phoenix knocking out the Great Khali.
Oh yeah, the kiss scene.
Which a great moment. Then CM Punk gives her the go to sleep and just tosses her out. Zack Ryder comes in. He's like, you're special. And they just donks him in the head. Triple H comes out. You know what he does to CM Punk, tosses him out, and just like in most cases,
buries him.
Buries him just like he did years later. And this is also very famous as the Edge Return Rumble, where he's been out. Yes, good point. So Chris Jericho and he had a feud, or a tag team, and then he came back to feud with them. Went on to win the Royal Rumble. John Cena's in there. There's a lot of heavy hitters there at the end. It was like
Shawn Michaels in there at the end.
Shawn Michaels, yes. Was this is the Shawn Michaels one too? This is the one where Shawn Michaels said he had to win. It was the only way to get to Taker, because Taker early in the night fought Rey Mysterio, who broke his nose, which another incredible thing. But just the match itself, a lot of drama, high, like again, Batista, Michaels, Jericho, Edge, Cena. Those are your final 5. That is maybe the best final 5, especially at that time. Like everybody was title worthy. So that was a really good Rumble in 2010.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I watched the ending of it today. And it's always funny to see the end of the Royal Rumble, because it's not going to be the best wrestling you've ever seen. Because those guys, for the most part, unless they're 30 or like from 25 to 30, they're cooked. Oh,
yeah. Like, honestly, if you watch, and this was like pretty bad shape Triple H, not his worst. We've seen, I hate to say it, but like fat Triple H there for a little bit.
There's a picture of him coming out in the entrance where he's looking pretty hefty.
Yeah, there's that one. I forget what year it is. It might have been like the year before, 2008, 2009. It was borderline sad to see.
I mean, Adam Kaufman recently told me when he saw a picture of me to eat a salad. So,
wait, what?
Yeah,
he said that to you?
He did.
Where does he get off? I've never seen that guy in like a basic T-shirt, so I don't know what he's hiding. He's got that like
pretty basic though.
Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, coming in at number 10, build. You had this one a little higher than I did. It was
I love
both
this
of our
one.
lists, but lower. The 2005 Royal Rumble. For people that are like, well, anytime you explain it, this is the both men went over at the same time, Batista and John Cena.
No, but that's not even the best part of this Royal Rumble. Not even a little bit.
Well, what would you say is?
The only thing that the reason this was on my list, and it was high on my list, because it wasn't a good go over at the same time, like we'll get to later in our list from our childhood, our very young childhood. This would probably be like maybe like early 20s. I don't know. How old were you in 2005?
I was 20.
20. Okay, yeah. I
just turned 20. So you were what,
Vince,
21?
yeah. So I don't know if this was a work or a shoot. Vince McMahon getting mad at the tie and then storming out. But what happens is when he hits the ring to get in there, he's so flustered. He's throwing his jacket down. He's stomping. He's yelling. He flies into the ring and he literally snaps both of his quads at the same fucking time. So he literally can't get up to yell. So he's sitting on his ass, directing traffic in the ring to restart it because there was a tie between Cena and Batista. And it's just one, like, if you watch that countdown, the Royal Rumble moments on the WWE Network, which is the best thing they ever did. I don't know why they stopped fucking doing it.
Still miss those. Still miss
Unreal. Those. But the explanation of all of the people, like Triple H and John Cena, talking about Vince McMahon blowing both of his quads because he's just a fucking maniac. And then he must have been in unbelievable pain. And he's still just fucking yelling. It's unreal.
The story goes, Batista was supposed to win. He's going to powerbomb Cena out of the ring. Batista, we've once seen, we both were there. We witnessed when Batista had Booker T had a powerbomb himself with Batista. Batista had some
like
issues.
A pummel horse.
Yeah, he had some issues in the ring. He's a very good wrestler overall. Looked amazing all the time until his late return. But anywho, he's going to powerbomb Cena, but they both slip, and just somehow when they flip over, they literally both land simultaneously. Brian Gewirtz, who works a lot with The Rock and was a writer for a long time, tells the story that when they both flipped over, Vince was just saying, like, what are we doing? What is it? And he's like, just ring the bell for Batista. Just ring the bell for Batista. And then he's like, no, damn it. He slams his headset down, screams, play my bleeping music. They play his music. He comes storming down. You see the jacket, slides in
right now.
So
and I forgot what happened was he breaks one of them on the ring and then he breaks the other one.
Well, that's like so he pulls the quad going into the ring. So he sits there because he doesn't know what to do, screaming orders. So we can't, as the audience, hear anything. We just see him scream. He's like, "You toss him the fuck out, toss him out." Okay, so he tries. Then he leaves the ring. No sells the quad tear. As he's walking, he puts all the pressure on his other leg. Simultaneously, then when he sits in the back, he tears his other quad. And
Unreal.
And Gewirtz tells the story that he kayfabed both. He walked out of the arena. He said he's never seen a person be able to do it. Vince is not real. Anywho, but yes, eventually Batista does win. This is also the year he went on to face Triple H with his coming out party. John Cena also had his against JBL at WrestleMania. But the other really interesting thing that always reminds me is the Paul London being discarded by Gene Snitsky, one of the most nasty eliminations. He does like a shooting star press out of the ring. It's amazing. Just look it up. Gene Snitsky.
I gotta find it. I don't know if it's on our list, but the Taka Michinoku one in Madison Square Garden. It's a terrible Royal Rumble, but they show it because the King's obsessed with it. It's the one with is it the taxi coming out?
Correct.
I think it's the one with the taxi coming out. Taka Michinoku literally front flips directly on his face. And the King is just like Dave Chappelle style. Can we see that again? And it's just wait.
Coming in at number 9, the year before the Batista double quad injury. I don't know who won necessarily, but this one is basically the Prosada non grata. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Vacant won the 2004 Royal Rumble. That would be actually Chris Benoit.
Yeah, Chris Benoit. This is the two people, Shawn Michaels and another, have won it from the one spot. This is that one.
Well, yeah, and then last year, obviously, it's not on our list, but Edge won from the number 1 spot last year. That will just not be remembered. But they just needed to finally say Shawn Michaels, Edge, and others have won. They need to take this out. But 2004, I think I saw a really interesting tweet from the New Age Insiders, I believe, or one of the guys who runs that account, saying that 2004 was such an interesting year. I think today's the anniversary of when Benoit won. Then he had a triple threat match, wins the main event at WrestleMania, which is still a weird decision to me. But then he had also lost to Orton at SummerSlam, making Orton the youngest champion of all time. There's just so many big things that happen in transitions in that year that can't be talked about. But anyways, this Royal Rumble is very interesting. You had Benoit and Orton starting it off. This is a very young Randy Orton. You have a Mick Foley return in this one. You have Goldberg coming out at number 30. You had talk about Mr. Ass. He's in there. He's flaunting him out there. But the fact that Chris Benoit was in there for 1 hour, 1 minute, I think at the time was the record. Just an incredible performance. A lot and he was in the ring the whole time. You've had people like Stone Cold and Roman Reigns in that number 1 or 2 spot that were taken out, in a stretcher or beat up in the back and just kind of rest for a little while. Whole time, he's just in that ring, just putting on a clinic, and eventually does win this Royal Rumble. And to this day, regardless of what you think of him, I never saw him as a main event player. It still shocks me looking at the roster at that time that he was given that brass ring.
Yeah, usually it's like the Rick Martel, like, oh, this guy lasted 55 minutes, and you kind of get him over like that in the Royal Rumble. The Iron Man, if you will. And obviously, if you win bell to bell and it goes a little bit afterwards, you're going to be the Iron Man of that thing anyways. But I always thought Benoit was, I think Eddie Guerrero is a better wrestler, and he's a little bit more of a character to be like
character,
the face of a company. But Benoit, I mean, and we'll do the Jericho here. We're talking about him as we knew him at the time, not the monster that he turned out to be.
Yes.
But he was, other than maybe at the time, Benoit and, Michaels was in his return. I think he was out of wrestling at this point, right?
No. Michaels was in the title match that night against Triple H in the Last Man Standing. They did no contest. That's why it's a triple threat at Mania. Shawn Michaels is forgotten in that WrestleMania main event.
But either way, he was one of the 4 best wrestlers on the planet at the time right now. Like,
who, Benoit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's hard because Kurt Angle's in that world who I always thought was going to win this thing. I thought this was going to be a Kurt Angle moment because I remember at this time, that's who I think he was one of the final 4. It was like, it was Jericho, Angle, Big Show, Benoit.
But sometimes they don't give this to, well, I'm always the fan of don't give it to like the Angle guy because he doesn't.
He's already over. Yeah.
My whole thing with the Royal Rumble is always make a star.
Yep. And we're going to get to that in a few moments. So 2005, though, it is like if you can, and I understand people that just can't watch this type of stuff anymore completely, and I get it, but this is a really fun Rumble to watch. A lot of characters, like I said, like you have a lot of these younger, almost transitional guys like a Randy Orton, and when this is when him and Mick Foley started their feud. So fun to watch, a lot of big names, a lot of fun in there, and also get that great title match I mentioned with Michaels and Triple H. Coming in at number 8, Bill, is 1996. This one came from Fresno, California. The only reason I know that's because it was when they had the really cool looking logo that had like all the sharp edges during the new generation. This was not the main event. The main event of the Royal Rumble, not always the Royal Rumble.
Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon main event?
Versus Undertaker. This is when Bret Hart was the champion. This was obviously leading to Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. But like Bret Hart had one of the worst title runs with it. Like all of his matches were like disqualifications, just no respect on the name. But the Royal Rumble match itself, to me, this was all you. I did not have this on mine.
Wait a second. I think I did the wrong one here.
No, you had the other one. Well, it's up to you which one. I'll plug either one. I think the other one's worse.
So what's the one where Shawn Michaels wins it the first time?
That's 95.
That's the one I want.
Well, we'll just jump to 95.
Yeah.
96 wasn't great. 95 might have been technically worse, but it was just the memory of the ending, right?
I mean, Michaels in that one that's the one I remember as a child. That's the one I would rent. That's the one I would watch. That's the one where he flips over Davey Boy, right? At the end there.
In the corner. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah, and he thinks Davey Boy won it, but then he does basically all I remember and all I've ever wanted to do is skin the cat, come back in, toss him out. It's a great moment. That was the launching pad for Michaels. This was a back-to-back win in 96, so we can kind of bookend him here. Where
we'll put them together. Technically, screw it. We'll make it. We'll have some fun with it. They put them together. Shawn Michaels' performances. Shawn Michaels wins. The 96 one was when you had all the like the glitz and glamour. But this one was when you had like Jenny McCarthy and Pam Anderson. Like we're gonna.
Yeah, this is Diesel coming down to the ring with one of them. It's I never liked Diesel. Even I didn't like Kevin Nash. Like Big Daddy Cool, that was the dumbest fucking thing when I was a kid. I thought that was stupid. Like I think Vince has a disconnect at certain points where he's like, everybody wants to see the giant guy. I'm like, oh, fucking, I don't. He just looked so awkward.
Fair enough, but this match is twofold. So this is when Michaels, obviously from the number 1 spot, Bulldog was number 2. Everyone talks about he was in there forever. This match wasn't even 39 minutes. This match was 38 minutes, 41 seconds. I swear, some of those guys, this is the most easy to digest. They're just bing, bing, bing. Like they're just flying out. You had some real dogs in this one too. Like
Max Boone.
Yeah, you have Eli Blue, Duke Droese, Jimmy Del Rey, Sloan. I don't even know who Sloan is. Tom Pritchard, Doink the Clown, Quang, Rick Martel, Owen Hart. Gotta love Owen. Should have won it probably. Timothy Well from Well Done.
Hmm?
Bushwhacker Luke, Jacob Blue, King Kong Bundy, Mo, Mabel, Bushwhacker Butch, Lex Luger, another guy could have been there, Mantar, Aldo Montoya, Henry O'Godwin, like Billy Gunn, Barca. They kept putting Mo and Mabel were back to back. The Smoking Guns were back to back.
Oh, this is one of the all-time great ring slides too, when Billy Gunn comes in and literally almost slides
Yes.
out of the fucking ring.
Adam Bomb, Fatu, Crush coming in at the 30 spot.
Yeah, this was my childhood in the
Yeah.
year, a few years before that. Like, this was the sweet spot of me fucking getting pissed at my family if they were like, "Hey, we're gonna watch," even Animation Domination, I think, was still around
Yeah,
then.
well,
Like,
it
we're
wasn't
gonna,
called
we're
that.
gonna- and I like the Simpsons stuff, but I'm like, the Royal Rumbles tonight, like.
Yeah.
I would cry. I would get mad, and then I'd have to watch it like the next. I think they released it again on like Tuesday or something.
Yes, the Tuesday replays. I
Yeah.
sometimes I had the illegal cable box at this time.
So did I.
I
Yeah.
recorded. So it was more just like making time. But yeah, I
Mhm.
do remember this one for the Michaels. Like I remember Bulldog one. I was pumped. Obviously, like this is the best when you're not thinking about logically. Like, but actually, I guess Bulldog versus Diesel would have been the main event. But anyways,
Woof.
like actually the main event. Sorry, was actually Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor, who was at ringside when he got eliminated. But the point is, like, this was just like, you're right. The memory's there. Michael skinning the cat, hold on, just 1 foot touch. First time they had done it. And this is early stages of the Rumble, like with meaning. So awesome coming out party for him. Solidified himself as the heel that was like likable because that was kind of like a heroic thing he did. So 1995-96 kind of tying in there, coming in at number 8. Number 7 was my top. I have to look again, but it was in my top 3, not on yours. Had to be an oversight, but not as much as the other one. 2001. How did you not have 2001 on your list? I think it's insanity, but I had to make sure it got there. This is the Attitude Era. This is the craziest one with all the hardcore weapons. One of the weirdest. I think it was like beginnings of all time. Jeff Hardy coming in at 1, Bull Buchanan 2. Most,
I remember this one. Now I'm looking at it. I think I must have had an oversight here.
That's fine. But like just look at these first 5 people. Jeff Hardy, Bull Buchanan, Matt Hardy, Farouk, Drew Carey.
And we're kind of getting that this year with Johnny Knoxville, right?
I know. But like, I don't even mind that. But like, those don't, the way the Royal Rumble has become so, like, I think really well the last 15 years, they always have like the first 2 kind of have like nice, like it's a good little matchup. Hardy and Buchanan, like, what are we doing? Then Matt Hardy, Farouk, but then Kane came in, and this is when Kane set the elimination record with 11. He was the Iron Man at 53 minutes. Eventually does get tossed out by eventual winner Stone Cold Steve Austin in the lucky 27 spot. This also just like a legit hardcore match in the middle of it when like Taz, Bradshaw, Hardcore Holly, I think there was K Quick came out with weapons. Like there was insanity in this. I believe, is this also when the Undertaker, he got eliminated by... This isn't the Maven one, is it? I think
it is the Maven one.
Was Maven in this? I'm trying to see who he got. No, Rikishi knocked out the Undertaker in this.
Oh, okay.
He came in at 30. Haku made his return to WWE. Didn't really do much, but
now that I'm thinking about it, I should have had 2000 on the list too, because I think 2000.
You had 2000 on your list.
Okay, good, because that's the one where they do the dance in the middle of the ring with Too Cool.
Correct. That was a good moment, but it's
a bad Rumble. 2000's a bad. I'm sorry to get off track, but 2000's a bad Rumble, but it has great moments.
It does, but a lot of these do. But 2001, I think, is like an excellent one.
Oh yeah, no, this was a huge oversight by me.
Yeah, Kane was just literally man possessed. At one point, I was rooting for him. I remember as a kid, obviously, like Stone Cold was but
these are how you. When you look at all of the wrestlers through this is kind of how you remember all of them looking too. Like you remember, the Big Show looking like that, Kurt Angle with the foolish head of hair. Like it's definitely like thinning, but like that's how I remember like in high school what all of these guys were.
It's also weird to think we're leading to WrestleMania WrestleMania 17. The Rock is technically in this Rumble as well, by the way. So like it was very fascinating that obviously we got Rock and Austin at that Rumble. You had Kurt Angle, obviously as the champion. He ends up losing it, but like it was just like such a fascinating time. And like looking back at this Rumble, there's very few people that really you thought were going to win. I thought just The Rock, because I still thought he was the guy over Stone Cold that time. But The Rock wins. I mean, Stone Cold wins. It goes on to put on the big show of WrestleMania 17, but just a fun Rumble. A lot of fun to watch this one. And again, the undercard on this Rumble has one of the best intercontinental matches of all time. That's the ladder match between Benoit and Jericho. Just amazing match. Now we'll jump to our number 6, Bill. This is the 2018 men's. We got to start clarifying men's Royal Rumble. So in 2018, that was the first women's Royal Rumble. Spoiler ahead, but they had the this was the one that had like the split of style. So like there was the young guy, well, the new guys and the old guys. I believe at one point the standoff was
the final 6 were it was like
it Orton, Cena, Mysterio, and then it was Reigns, Shinsuke,
Balor,
and Finn. Yeah. Just awesome. And that scene where they're standing across is also Ray's return to the Federation. Just an awesome moment right there. And then I think like you were kind of talking about it, making guys, they made at the time Shinsuke Nakamura by winning the Rumble. Like I did not see that.
I was shocked. Absolutely 100% floored by it. And it was a good mix in the final 4 too, because I think it was Cena, Reigns, and you're like, all right, one of these fucking guys is winning. And then it was Balor and Shinsuke. And had they hadn't given Balor the Universal. That was like, did they?
No, what year? So 2000.
Is that 17?
The brand split was it already happened. So
that already happened.
Yes.
So I didn't think they were gonna get the chance because Vince had kind of once he saw that was like I felt like he was never gonna give any of these guys a chance. Like, oh, they're too small. And Shinsuke, he's a taller guy, but he's not built like fucking Roman Reigns or John Cena. No. So when he won this, I remember being floored. And I believe this was in the middle of the card too.
This match was because of the match.
The women's ended last.
Yeah. Yes. And there was a title match after this too. Triple threat. That was just a weird one. That's when Kane versus Roman versus Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Just weird. But Finn Balor, while I agree with you, he never thought he'd be the man again. And really technically never has been for a main brand. But he went almost an hour in this match. He came out at number 4 and he was the Iron Man and put on a hell of a performance. Also, this was like during the shenanigans of Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, where like Matt Hardy like just came in to eliminate Bray Wyatt, then like jumped over the top with his like broken gimmick at the time. Also had the Hurricane returning, always a good pop for the Hurricane. You know, gonna choke slam John Cena, toss him out. You had a couple of NXT young guys who are both now AEW. Had Andrade Cien Almas, what an amazing name, and Adam Cole, baby, both making their Royal Rumble debuts. But then, Shinsuke getting the win. The only thing I didn't like about this, and I'll stand by this is during the time when Roman Reigns was always put in there to make sure people liked the winner, even though I don't think Shinsuke needed it. Like, it could have easily went down to Shinsuke and Finn. I think that would have been a better final 2 for people to actually be like, which one are they going with? Even though I know Reigns adds that, like, oh, they're going to give it to him again. Here's the golden guy. But
I should have tweeted this out because I had a memory from however many years ago, probably 6-7 years ago, where if The Rock can't get you over, you'll never get over it. It was about Roman Reigns.
Bill.
And boy, was I fucking wrong. Because, I mean, it was the least over anyone's ever been.
No, you weren't wrong. You were dead right.
That's the time,
2015, so that would have been, 7 years ago. One of the worst Royal Rumbles of all time. Embarrassingly.
And the previous one was pretty bad fucking too.
Well, it was all about Daniel Bryan. We had 2 years, and he wasn't in the first in 2014. 2015, they eliminated him early, and it wasn't a story. It wasn't like when Shawn Michaels. Like, how do they just not see this is a guy that people want to put in whatever.
They do so many things well in the Royal Rumble, but they also do so many things horrible. Terrible.
And I'm so worried about this year, and we'll talk about it towards the end. But 2018, another just fun one. Lot of action. Here's my legitimate, to this day, number 1, a little recency bias, and you did not have it on your list. I'm wondering if you made a mistake with one of your rankings, but 2020 Men's Royal Rumble.
Was this the Edge return?
Yes.
So I think I put the one where Edge.
You put last year as the win. So, I'm like, that was not good.
That's
fine. That's okay. We can move it up the rankings.
It's still high enough, though. It's still high enough.
Oh, absolutely. This is what everything Bill talked about, and we talked very much in detail about this Royal Rumble. Not only did you get the huge Edge return, which was like, we both kind of said we didn't want him to return, but then once he did,
it was perfect.
It was like, oh my God. I remember a friend of ours, Lauren, was over my house. I think you were with a bunch of buddies.
Yeah.
And we were texting each other, and I remember literally like jaw drop, like, no.
Unreal.
And they poor camera angle for poor Dolph Ziggler getting speared. This is also a major. AJ Styles had a nice run in this one, and he ended up getting hurt, and people didn't know what would happen. This also led to this year 2020, him and the Undertaker's Boneyard match. But the thing that makes this match incredible was Brock Lesnar as the champion, starting the match at 1.
Smoking people. It was
and
unreal.
Just dropping people.
Oh, this
14 eliminations, just straight dudes out. It was Elias. Then there was the great Shelton Benjamin moment where he's like, we're buddies. He's hugging him, tosses him. The amazing Keith Lee performance where he comes in and Brock's like, oh, big boy. Like he's trying to put him over. And yet, to this day, he's a free agent. Braun Strowman, he got tossed out. Everybody. There was a bad moment with Kofi. I still wanted Kofi to be the one in the Ricochet spot, but Ricochet ends up hitting Brock Lesnar in the low blow. Drew McIntyre comes out, kicks him. Sorry, not broke kicks him. Claymores him out of the ring. And an awesome moment for Drew McIntyre. Like, put him over like Rover.
Star making moments. That's what they did in this one. And I fucking hate Drew McIntyre. I still kind of do.
No,
but this, to me, it did everything right. It got Edge back. You went crazy. It got Brock over as the heel in a way that you kind of always wanted to see somebody dominate a Rumble. Yeah, I should have had this way higher. I just looked at my list for 2021, which I thought this wasn't even high enough. So yeah, we could probably move this up if we wanted to. But either way, this is, I don't even think it's recency bias. This was awesome. Electric. And you're right. I did get mad at the Kofi thing because you had a chance to kind of right the wrong of him dropping the belt like a bitch. Yes. Get him to get the elimination there or
just be the one that helped him.
Yeah,
just
get him to slow him down.
They put Ricochet in this position. Then Ricochet went on to face Brock at Crown Jewel and literally got squashed. And Ricochet's never been like looked at the same 2 years later. But literally all they had to do was put Kofi in that spot. The crowd would have loved it. Then Drew could have tossed Kofi for all I care. Like, it's because that's every man for himself. But Drew, that moment when Drew knocks him out, just stares at him. It is star making. It is the rocket ship was there. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, I truly believe this, Drew McIntyre would be on the trajectory of like that Roman Reigns, John Cena, huge star.
He's just missing something.
I personally don't think he is. I just think it was during that time. Like, it's hard to look back at that and be like, because he would come out and just be the guy who's like, really, welcome to Raw. Like, it's just, no, you're not that guy.
I've never really seen him. Like, we'll get to it in a second here, but like, there are certain people who can turn on a room without a camera. Like, and we can just transition right now to number 4 here in the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble. And Asuka is the definition of just the ultimate star. Like, she is just the one. And like, I remember I watched during the early days of the pandemic. She knew what she was doing with no camera, with nothing. And she doesn't even speak English, and she can translate to an audience like nobody's fucking business.
No, I'll just wrap up my Drew thing real quick. Yeah. WWE just has an issue with top-end baby faces. They just don't do well by them.
I think their top-end baby faces aren't good.
But it's because they changed their character to be very like white toast. Like, this is all
white
I
meat
do.
Baby face.
It really, but it's like not like it used to be. Like, not hungry. It's
the times have changed and it doesn't work as well. I mean, it's still like
Edge,
the Walter White. You need not the character Edge, but you need to have an Edge.
You need to give a crap.
It's the Stone Cold Walter White. Like, people want to like a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, or like, it's okay if you're just like Daniel Bryan could have but his title run being short could have been the best thing in a weird way for him, because he probably would have turned into that, or make him like Bret Hart in like times where it's like he made all the sense of the world when things didn't go his way, so people understood his frustration. But anyways, going back to Asuka, what you just said, Bill, I have fought with people, the wrestling community, that because everyone's like Sasha Banks and Bayley were the best thing about the pandemic era. I said, if it wasn't for Asuka, those two wouldn't have been even thought of, because they were she was the fodder for them as well.
That Money in the Bank match, fucking unbelievable.
She was amazing. And
I've never seen anyone like that doesn't talk, that doesn't like, she might be able to speak English, I don't know, but like her character just basically goes, you talk too much. Like, that's her. Awesome. She doesn't say a whole lot. She doesn't say a whole lot, but she translates almost better than any character in the history of professional wrestling.
Dude,
she really does.
Agree. And just going back to this match, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, so rewatchable. Sasha Banks, the Iron Woman, coming out at number 1. Becky Lynch at 2. What a moment for those two. Kind of got, at the time, I would say, like, at times, like, Bayley was like getting a lot of shine, and obviously Charlotte, well deserved, was the one. She was the champion, and Alexa Bliss were champion, so they just sat at ringside. But you had Sasha, Becky, then you had the return of Lita. And this is when you didn't know what we were going to get from this. Kairi Sane making her jump from NXT. Tori Wilson was a return at the time. I think has been in every Rumble since. and like fine wine. You had
She's
Molly
the Tom
Holly.
Brady of women.
That's a great. I love that. That needs to be tweeted. Michelle McCool, Vicky Guerrero, Kelly Kelly. You had Ember Moon making her WWE like main roster debut.
Was it really? Huh.
Yeah, because she came out with the like busted arm from the night before's takeover, and her and Asuka. It was a great Asuka moment.
Yeah,
Again,
they went back and
nonverbal.
forth.
Like, she was going like looking at her arm, like what happened to your arm? Like I love it. I love Asuka, and obviously. As we get to it, Asuka won the damn thing. Her and Nikki Bella at the end, and I thought Nikki Bella was going to win. I did. I was like, they're going to give it to, the known commodity.
And then wasn't this the debut of Ronda Rousey as well?
And then so the poor Asuka a little bit wins it.
Yeah.
Both Charlotte and Alexa come in, so she's kind of like she's not getting her big point. Instead, music hits, My Generation, and then it's just the point, the famous long point, just
the worst point ever.
Poor Ronda.
The other thing I'll say really quickly about this too
please.
is like you had a blank slate to do the first Women's Royal Rumble. You had all the moments you could plan, and they crushed it. They did absolutely hit every note. And obviously, it's wrestling, it's scripted, but it was a pretty flawless execution. Like if we were to give them, the writing grade, it would be an 11 out of 11.
They did amazing. Like I said, you got Jacqueline, you got so many Beth Phoenix, Trish coming out at 30, Bailey at 29, which was a downfall of Bailey because she's not a number 29 entrant. She's an early comer. But like it was just so much fun to watch. Nia Jax went on a tear. She eliminated, I believe, like 4 or 5. I know Michelle McCool actually oddly had the record until it was recently broken, but she had like 5 that first year. Just tons of fun to watch. So many old faces, new faces, and again, they put over a brand new star. No, that was a men's rumble in like 2012, give or take. And then the next year, 2019, is when Nia Jax entered the men's Royal Rumble, which was just hilarious. So now coming in at number 3, are the 3 count here, I guess, top 3, 1994. Is this, I'll just say this, is this Rumble very rewatchable? No. Is this Rumble all that good? No. But is this Rumble one of the most memorable finishes of all time?
Did I cry? I did.
I was pissed. I was absolutely pissed. I'll never forget it because there's so many replays. And again, this is where you've heard the stories. Both of them talked about it. Bret Hart is the excellence of goddamn execution. The fact that he had to take another man's body, a massive body like Lex Luger,
narcissist.
Yeah, how long was Bret in this match at this point, too? He'd been in there for a pretty long time.
Because he is the narcissist at this point, or is he the?
He was. This is all American Lex Luger.
Is it really?
Oh, I don't know. Bret came in at 27. He was only there for 15 minutes. Yeah, so this was the Lex Express was the previous summer.
Was it really?
So yeah, Hogan had left in '93. Lex gets the Lex Express. Draw at SummerSlam, and he gets celebrated. Same thing at Survivor Series.
I never bought him. I never bought him.
Neither did
him and Diesel. See you later. And maybe it's because he was going up against Bret Hart. But like when he tied with that fucking asshole, and then the mishmash that made that fucking WrestleMania 10 with Jack Tunney, like you're each gonna fight, then whoever fights is gonna fight this guy. That was fucking. But it
awesome.
did give us the Bret versus Owen thing.
Yeah.
But like you're right, this Rumble not good from a standpoint of anything really. The entrance kind of stink.
It's just
this is when you had one of the first. Was this the like? They had to eliminate Mo, and it took like 30 people.
Yeah, well, it was Mabel. Mabel was eliminated by Bam Bam Bigelow, Crush, Great Kabuki. Yeah, put that on there. Greg Valentine. What was he doing there? Shawn Michaels, Tatanka, and Sparky Plug. Yeah. 7 men. And by the way, just the problem is with these Rumbles, this was the worst of their roster. So you had Scott Steiner, who's not the Scott Steiner we know and love at this time. You have Samu, one of the...
and I think the ramp was coming from the other side because of the building they did it in. It was coming to the right of the screen, but it's usually the left of the screen.
It was
everything about this Rumble is dumb. It's just probably, at the time, the most I've ever been into professional wrestling. And I was literally living and dying with every moment of this Rumble.
Crush was technically in there the longest, but this is Diesel eliminating 7, which technically became the start of that like monster throwing people out. So it was the Diesel spot, which to this day, nobody talks about it. Like we call it the Iron Man, but like backstage to this day, or at least a few years ago, a writer said that they still say you have the Diesel spot. So that's
you gotta make him
pretty
cool. Strong.
Yeah, that's what it was all about. And this is when he was just Shawn Michaels' lackey. Michaels in there for about a half hour. There is great performances within this Rumble and really funny moments in this Rumble too. But Bret and Luger at the same time, just a weird way to kind of end too. Like I always thought like it would have been cool if they just put a match. I still think the Rumble, it would be great if it came down to 2 and then they actually have to like put on a match for a few minutes, but Anyways, that's just my take. It's still the greatest. But yeah, 1994, we were young. It's like the first big memory, I think, of any Royal Rumble, aside from like there was a standoff between Hogan and the Warrior, which was like a prelude to what was going to happen. But that was an amazing Royal Rumble. But here is one that I think these next two, aside from, I think 2020 is still number one, but my opinion, the next two really could, for like retro-ish ones, you could flip a coin between them. Obviously, you know where we're going to go at one once I tell you this one, but this is a better Rumble than the one we're going to end on. But we'll just get, I truly believe
you know what? It's a better Rumble, but I have a reason why I picked one as one.
Well, I think we
know why.
Yes, but let's jump in to number two. It is 2002. This is right after all the invasion is over. The return of Triple H. You cannot hear Beautiful Day without thinking the Patriots just won or Triple H is returning to the WWE. Great package there. But this is loaded. Amazing roster. Tons of fun.
This is the best roster. This is when they didn't have to get guys you've never heard of, like here's some guy from the NWA
Mexico.
Chicken.
Yeah, that was the whole 1997, which isn't in here. And by the way, quick note on 97, Bret Hart won that Rumble. I don't want to hear about it. That is not a Stone Cold victory. That is rewriting history. And
that's where we get the best memes, though. And we get a little bit of recreation memes in this one, but that's the Stone Cold, like, look up at the thing and his face is like, oh. And
but he did not win.
He did not win, but it's also the best look. And it's the best when he looks at the watch.
And
he does that in this, but like the when he like looks up, like what is that? That's
amazing. Like as if
amazing
like
gift.
Yeah, it's just great. But in this one, it's just a ton of fun. This is the Undertaker eliminated by Maven, by the way. This is in there as well.
And shout out to the Jobberknocker. I think JC's favorite wrestler of all time is none other than
I'm guessing you're not
Maven.
talking about the Undertaker. Oh, you gotta be. First of all, I will give a shout out to the Jobberknocker. Earlier today, I listened to their 30 Hopes. That is my favorite podcast they do.
100%. Yeah.
Lot of fun, a lot of wacky stuff said in there. Those guys do a good job. Their audio is a little bit questionable, but that's beside the point. Their content is incredible. I always like to say, like, change my mind. I love their Versus podcast, and they've done 2 in a row. I feel like they're just programming to me, and that's all I care about. So do share the love. Go listen to Jobberknocker, Change My Mind, and all the other podcasts, you know. But yeah, 2002. This is the return of Triple H. This is him coming in at number 22. Goes on an absolute tear. He is not his quad this time. He has eliminates 4 people at the end. It comes down to him and Kurt Angle at the end. This is also Mr. Perfect makes his return to WWE.
Yes. Good Final Four.
Oh my! And Mr. Perfect, I recently saw a video of it on Twitter again because I've watched this Rumble, but I didn't pay attention. He takes his time. He swallows that scene. His music hits, the crowd pops, and he's just standing there like magnificent. It's magnificent watching him. Flips his towel.
It's
spits his gum.
absolutely perfect.
It really is. And it's too bad he wasn't in the best health and standing with the company thereafter, because it would have been really interesting to see him in that roster.
I was
on like a
for that.
run. Yeah.
Like, because he's still like, I mean, he's one of the greatest in-ring workers of all time because he knew how to milk it. And you can see it in that moment. He knew how to milk that moment.
I just, like, I think about it now, and this could be a what if I could do later, but like, just imagine the match of like Perfect and Angle. Perfect and like Booker T. And I know we got a little of that in WCW, like Perfect in a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe that could have been the WrestleMania match, and that would have saved him from taking his ball and going home. Imagine like just stuff like that when I look at it. Also, Diamond Dallas Page completely underutilized in WWE in this Rumble. Hurricane, great move when he tried to chokeslam both Austin and Triple H. Just amazing. And don't forget Triple H also and Stone Cold having a little bit of face-off previously before the injury. They were tag team partners. Just Stone Cold being in this and getting eliminated by Perfect and Angle. Just amazing. Like clean. Just weird times, but amazing, fun Rumble. Kind of unpredictable, I thought at one point. Like, I didn't think you just always default that Stone Cold's going to win. But Triple H does it, goes on to main event WrestleMania that was really main evented by Hogan and The Rock.
Well, Triple H, Stone Cold's 1-3, Hogan's 1-3.
No. Stone Cold's 1-2, and there's this fraudulent third one. That's not real. He did not win the 1997 Royal Rumble. He was eliminated. Yeah. He slid back in, threw up Bret Hart. They made a Final Four match. Shawn Michaels lost a smile. Bret Hart won the Final Four match. So technically, by all those putting that together, Bret Hart won the 1997 Royal Rumble.
Fair enough.
But in Wikipedia, yes. So yes, the Roman Reigns is 1-1. Orton's 1-2. Edge is 1-2. Michaels
Yeah, that
was
Orton
2.
one came out of nowhere a few years ago.
Yeah, in 2017 for no reason. It was like when you look back at that, like, why wouldn't Bray win that and they do the other? Whatever. With that being said, Bill, the number one Royal Rumble. When you think of the Royal Rumble, I think it just defaults right here because Bill, with the tear in my eye,
This is the greatest night of my life.
I didn't know who the hell Ric Flair was.
I
And
didn't
in
really either.
1992, somebody said this recently somewhere, and I don't know where it was, but I had the same thought. I thought he was an old man. When I saw Ric Flair, he was like 42 at the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's younger than like AJ Styles, who, by the way,
And he wrestled for another like 30 years.
Honestly, he retired in 24. We're going 14 years ago. 14 years ago. So that would be what? 2008? That's 16 years later. Yep. 16 years later. And he still wrestled after that in TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, but Ric Flair, the 1992 Royal Rumble, you can go back in our archive. We actually did like a live watch along with it with some of the worst audio because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, trying to make files small instead of just paying up. But nonetheless, before we know Ric Flair won, it was for the title. Here is your lineup. Tell me, like, just make a noise.
He was also number 2.
He was number 3. He was number 3.
Oh, he's number 3.
That's what made it special. An hour. He was an hour.
Quickly, I'll just go on my little tangent.
Please.
It's the greatest commentary in the history of WWE. Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon are an absolute magic. Like, they're magic on the mic. This was their best performance ever. This is when, this is Bobby Heenan's meal ticket. Ric Flair coming in to win it. He's got all this money riding on it. Like, they have a fake storyline going through it. He comes out at 3, and Bobby Heenan's losing his mind, talking about Roddy Piper.
Happen?
You're wearing that's not a kilt, it's a skirt when he's beating up Ric Flair, but then he's helping. No. It's not a dress, it's a kilt. Like, he is just all over the map. Like, it is an electric performance by him. And Ric Flair is doing the ultimate Ric Flair in there. He's walking, falling in the middle of the mat, flipping over the top of the ropes and staying in.
Somebody get him a defibrillator. Like, there's like
unreal.
I will just say this. I always think of this as the Hasbro-LJN Toys Rumble. Mm-hmm. Bulldog, Ted DiBiase, Ric Flair, Jerry Saggs of the Nasty Boys, Haku, Shawn Michaels, Tito Santana, The Barbarian, Texas Tornado, Repo Man, Greg Valentine, Nikolai Volkov, Big Boss Man, Hercules, Roddy Piper, Jake Roberts, Jim Duggan, Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, Jimmy Snuka, The Undertaker, Savage, Berserker, Virgil, and then this Colonel Mustafa, Rick Martel, Hulk Hogan, Skinner, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid Justice, and the Warlord. There was legitimately toy for 28 of the 30 men I just mentioned. Like, insane.
Unbelievable, guys. You can picture them all in your head when you say it. I don't know who the final 4 was, but the final 3 was Hogan, Sid, and Flair.
Correct. And this is when Hogan, absolute heel,
pulls out.
It was Randy Savage was the
I mean, so that is a final fucking 4 right there.
Right there. Piper right before that too. So final 5 right up there with the one we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what ends up happening is Sid Justice clean just takes Hogan and just tosses him with a little help. With distraction from Flair a moment before. Hogan gets all bitchy, starts grabbing his arm, and then Flair comes and tosses him out. And it's like, what a heel. Hogan's a heel.
I'm going to go back and watch it probably at some point this weekend. How many over-under on thumbs to the eye from Ric Flair?
Oh, I think Ric Flair, at least, I'll put it just for argument's sake, it's 6.5.
I mean, he just is going
around. Doing it to everybody.
It's like, I would do that all the time in Rumbles. Just buy yourself some time.
No, the best ever was Jerry Lawler in 96 when he just ducked under
the ring. Yeah.
But that's our top 11. So quickly to run through it. 2000, and these are all rewatchable. Any Rumble, even bad Rumbles are fun to watch. 2010, 2015, number 9 was 2004, the unmentionable. Number 8 is 1996 and 95. We'll just call it the Shawn Michaels spot. Number 7 is 2001. Number 6 is 2018 men's. 2020 is number 5, probably could be pushed to number 3. Number 4 was the 2018 women's, the first ever. 1994 coming in at 93, the Brett and Luger tie. 2002 Triple H's return at number 2, amazing roster. And 1992, the Rumble, because this is what changed everything. It was for the WWE title. Ric Flair wins. Next year, they turned it into the winner gets a shot at the title at WrestleMania, and they've only had one other year where it was for the title when Triple H won it a few years back. So just great historic value. The Rumble is, as Billy, you said, it's the greatest sporting event.
It's amazing. And we didn't, there was a few things that we didn't really talk about. All of the Kofi spots that we get. John
Yeah.
Cena's return at the Rumble, which is arguably one of the greatest returns in the history of wrestling, where he comes out, stands like a fucking badass. I think that's also the Madison Square Garden set.
Yep,
It just builds for so many amazing moments. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really tapped in. I wrote down some predictions. So we can
let's get
to
into our 3 count. So we'll go through these quick. And obviously, surprises, you can throw whatever, get as wild or whatever you want. But for the men's winner, Bill, who do you got? Who's on your list?
Okay, so I'm gonna go.
And I like it real quick. You're not watching week to week, so people know.
No idea.
You
Legitimately,
see things here and there.
no clue.
And I have a feeling somehow you'll be right just based on that. Because this year, I'll be honest, is not a momentous, like, surefire guy. But go ahead.
Slightly larger than life me, Kevin Owens.
Okay. I like that.
Big E.
Yep, like that.
AJ Styles.
So there's the dark horse right there. Styles is this weird thing. He's now no longer in a tag team. There's not a feud. He's kind of floating around, and I could see it. For me, one will be a surprise. I'm going to go with I'm going to put Brock Lesnar here. Just because right now he's not tapped to be in the match. He's an incredible card, by the way. You have Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. Finally, that match is going to be, I think, everything in bag of chips. You got, hopefully, if they put on their working boots, you got Seth versus Roman, which I think is another just going to be incredible match between those two.
Wow.
Always, yeah, that's your Universal title match. The other matches are fine, but those two are like your big ones. So for me, I'm going to put Brock there because they're probably still going to find a way to get Roman versus Brock again. I'm going to throw it a wild card. I'm putting The Rock in here. I'm putting it because it's not, everyone thinks it's going to be next year, but there's a part of me that just wonders if they're going to pull out all the stops to just sell out Jerry's World for 2 years. And maybe there's some sort of future play. Here's my thought process. It's 2 nights. I think if they ever want to unify those titles, you do Brock Roman night 1, winner faces Rock night 2. Instead of doing triple threat. That's just something in my head, but I will also put my third one. I will have Big E. A part of me doesn't believe they're going to go with him, but another part of me is like, it's a great hero's journey. Like he lost out, but we haven't seen enough from him to make me feel it, but we shall see. So Bill, what did you put for the winners?
I mean, I looked at the list of people that are have declared. That's always the thing I hated too, declaring for the Royal Rumble. It's like, all right,
I declare for $1 million.
I'll declare for the Royal Rumble.
Get in there, Bill.
In?
Johnny Knoxville.
I always hated that. So I have Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and then this one, just because I think it would be hilarious, Kelly.
Oh my God. Imagine. So one of these will also be a surprise, but I just have to do it because now with rumblings. But first, I'm going to put this one in here because what you just mentioned with John Cena, I want to see Sasha Banks pull a John Cena. She's currently injured. She tore something in her knee, but if she comes out in the 30 spot, big surprise, huge pop, maybe doesn't have to do as much and can eliminate, a legend or two. See you later. I'm also going to throw in as a winner potentially. You should go younger, but there's something about Lita. I wonder if Lita's going to get one last big run. I would like maybe her and Charlotte at WrestleMania could be something. And obviously Charlotte's in this, maybe like what Brock Lesnar Drew kind of deal. And then the other one, I have to go with it just because things are barky now. If they're going to go big time, there's no one bigger to bring back than Ronda Rousey. If Ronda Rousey comes back, she would be, and you get her versus Becky in the one-on-one match we should have had back 3 years ago. I could see it. So those will be my picks.
Yeah, the greatest rookie sensation of all time. Besides the greatest woman's, Kurt Angle's the greatest men's.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's close.
Nope, I agree with you. So who do you got for some surprises here? Who do you think?
So I know that Corey Graves was declared okay.
Yeah, so he was cleared to wrestle again. Yes.
All right, give me him.
I want to see
Corey
it too.
Graves. I've only seen him. I only saw he only did when I was watching NXT. He had already been injured, but there was still enough stuff that you could kind of go back and see what he was.
Him and Zayn,
he was kind of like a Wish version of CM Punk, right?
That's honestly, I hate to say that. That's really good way to put it.
But he's good on the mic. And, maybe he stands up from the thing, or maybe he's not out there and he comes out. I'd like to see him. He's got a cool look. He's kind of a badass. Give me him. And then
real quick on Corey Graves. Hold on. Well, you say it though. But I want to say about Corey Graves, I think him with Carmella is looking the best she's looked. Her ring there, everything's spot on. Lord. And the fact that they do they have a podcast together, they have great chemistry. If you do what we have with the Miz and Maurice, I think you could turn Corey Graves and Carmella into a legit, great package. And I think that's what wrestling needs. So I am all in on that, as you were. So you're saying, Paige, this could be
Give me Paige. Paige is just, I mean,
Oh, I miss her so much.
I mean,
She
she
would be
is
such a great shot of adrenaline for this division.
even if she just comes out and like eliminates a few people. Like I just want to hear the roar of her music, like the
Yeah, like Dragon.
Yeah, it's fucking great. She skips down to the ring. I mean, I know she's got like neck problems are pretty fucking severe. So I mean, if
So
you
did
can't,
Edge.
you can't. Yeah, I guess. I mean, and Corey Graves was concussions.
Concussions and there was so many all these like Sheamus. No one talks about this. Like 2 years ago when he was out.
Oh
for, like,
yeah, I
half
thought
the
he
year,
was done.
he like couldn't feel his extreme. He had like what Josh
Tingling.
Allen has.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
has like tingling sensations, and it's like I don't think
But
you
not
can ever
because of the
take.
cold, because he had nerve damage.
Yes, but technically Josh Allen has said nerve damage just in a different way, and it kicks in cold. Anyways,
Yeah.
but like that was like he's never going to come back, and he's on a great tear of a run here, Sheamus. But
Greatest
yeah,
moveset
I'd
in the
love
history of WWE.
to this day. I would love to see Paige as well.
All right.
Who's your third?
Oh, I didn't. What's another surprise?
Yeah.
Oh, 3 total.
Throw
I don't know.
somebody.
Give me a coach, Jonathan Coachman.
All right, but no.
I don't know. I don't even know who's in wrestling right now.
That's fine. That's Bill. That's the best part. So for me, obviously, I already talked about The Rock and Ronda Rousey. Just to go off of them, I could see them pulling out the Undertaker.
No,
We're going to Texas.
don't do me. No,
I'm just saying I could see the gong.
I only
could
want it
see
if
happening.
like he has a WrestleMania type entrance that takes 10 minutes and other people are coming out as he's.
Bill, everyone gets eliminated before he gets to the ring.
Yeah.
He wins. I could see them potentially trying to do some just because one champion is Brock, one champion's Roman. If you ever wanted, you could do a triple threat.
Has Bray landed anywhere yet?
No. So here's another guy I actually think he's one of my other guys. I think him and Braun Strowman are my other two here. I know I didn't go for a women's, but you said Paige, and that was my only like real like big surprise. And I already said Ronda, but I think you're right. I think Bray, I still think he's best suited for WWE if they creatively can get on the same page. I just think that character, what it could do. Alexa Bliss is kind of still doing things that could tie back in. And I also think Braun Strowman, because my head can't wrap around the fact that Braun Strowman isn't a WWE guy. Like he's the perfect look. They made him a legit monster. And the fact that he's just not there, he just has the look of everything they're trying to do right now. So those will be my guys. We shall see. It's going to be a ton of fun. The Royal Rumble Saturday night on the Peacock. I know we got to wrap up here momentarily, Bill, but anything you've been watching or anything else you want people to know or be listening to?
All right, we should probably, I don't know if we even should. Peacemaker, I'm like 2.5 episodes in. Don't love it yet. Cena's amazing. The rest of it's meh.
Really? So I've yet to watch.
Around him.
I know we said we want to like review that when it's over. I think we still could. I think because that's like wrestling in our wheelhouse of John Cena. I've yet to start that. I'm in Ozark right now. That show's just something else. Wild. It's a good show. I haven't finished it yet, but that there's this show called Archive 81. It's fascinating. It's another Netflix if you want to check out. I think it's a good watch. Some of these Netflix shows though, Bill, I don't know if you ever see them and like you just wish it was a movie. You're like, oh, this looks good. And then you see like one season, you're like, nah, I don't want. Everything gets a show. The only other thing I want to say, new Muse. There's some new Muse out there. I'm a big Muse guy, so they got some new music out there you can listen to. Very, very good so far from what I've heard. And also, Bill, this is, I know I owe you like AEW matches to watch. I need you to get like, are you a Kendrick Lamar fan?
Love him.
Okay, I need some suggestions because I've been trying to listen to more hip hop because I'm kind of like not a hip hop fan. I kind of find it a lot to like be hard to listen to. But I listened to the song he did with Wiz, like Lil Queen or something like that, his like return song last year, and I'm like, I think I got to listen to him more. I feel like he's kind of important, and I feel like he like is like the rapper of the time, like actually like good and like. Yeah. Like I'm not a Kanye guy. I still think he's like a weird dude and a phony. I don't like Drake. But like, I feel like those guys are like their own thing. But like, I feel like he's legit, like in a weird way, like the face of true rap hip hop. But maybe I'm wrong. But send me some tracks. Send me some Lamar tracks. If anybody else wants to send them to, they can. You can follow this son of a gun right over here at Billy D2411 on the Insta, on the most socials, on Billy Yee over on Twitter. I'm at Jason D. Rossi. We are at Pop Culture Pile Driver. We are out of time. The clock is counting down. We are not going to be entering to this year's Rumble just yet, but you can follow us. Please do and enjoy the Rumble this week. We'll be talking a little bit about it next. Bill, any final words for the fine folks?
Slap it on the biscuit.
Frank says hi.